My friends, what is going on? Long time no see. Let's jump into the video. So today's video, we are going to talk about AMC and its Q3 earnings that are going to be tomorrow after market close. Big day tomorrow in the market, elections, all that kind of stuff. Let me start by saying on the video that when it comes to all the political stuff, I don't care what you are. I care that you can be a reasonable, kind human being. But I do think it's important to get out and vote. Let your voice be heard. So whether you're red, blue, green, neon, orange, I don't care. That'd be Trump, right? I don't care. Get out, use your vote, use your voice, and may the best party win. I already said on Twitter, my personal opinion is going to be that I think Republicans are going to take back over a lot of seats tomorrow, just to bring a little bit of balance of power, and then we'll see where we are going forward. But that's not what this video is about. Before we jump into the video and the charts and all that good stuff, you guys know the deal. Nothing I'm giving you is financial advice. I just want you to make awesome decisions for yourself, your family, your portfolio. I want you to be a great trader. Everything that I do is for educational purposes only. That way you can be the most successful trader that you can possibly be. So before I can talk a little bit about AMC, I do want to talk about the overall market a little bit. If you follow me on Twitter, which if you haven't done so already, please do so. Colin_Gladman. I got a lot of fake accounts out there. As soon as I can get the little check mark so you guys know it's me, I promise you I will do that. But it's been no secret if you follow me on Twitter, I have been very bearish overall. I think the market still has one more leg down. Now, could it come up to about 400 or so? Yes, I absolutely think that's a possibility before we see another leg down, but I'm still way more likely that we see another leg down than the bottom is already in. I think we're going to be pre-testing those COVID highs before we actually can find a true bottom. Okay. Now, if we look over here at SPX, which is going to be the S&P 500, I tweeted out how I would be really surprised if we just came up here and busted right through this 3,900 level. And the reason is because it had acted as both strong support and resistance previously. You can see right here that once we came back up and retested this level, it was a major rejection point. So that's why I said the first time we come back up and retest it, we're not going to break through. Now, could we possibly, just come down here? You can see, and sorry, this is all a little hard to read. This was from my video that I made from my Discord. So every week in my Discord, I basically go through and make like a weekly outlook video on AMC, GME, a whole bunch of other stocks. And basically what I was saying is the most likely here was this was basically a ascending broadening wedge, which if you look at how ascending broadening wedges play out, you get a big push down, then you kind of get this channel where it ping pongs around, and then you get a breakdown. And that's what I said to me was most likely what was going to be forming. So coming up here, rejecting off the 236, and then pushing back down at that point in time for the next leg down, to me was the most likely thing. Now, does that have to be what happens? No. We came down here. You got a solid bounce on this 0.5 in this local range. So if it does, start to recover this 236 level, you could push up here and you could double top, or you could even make a higher high in this range. What you really want to be looking for is, do we make a higher high than right here? So right around this 4,100 range. So even if you do come up here and then you start to make a pull down, then that's obviously not going to be good at that point in time. So I still think that the most likely is we've seen the top, and then we're going to have another big leg down, and then we are going to really start to see a chance for some recovery at that point in time if the Fed really starts to pivot. But you can see how many just awesome technical patterns have played out here. You had this bearish channel that then broke to the upside. Then you had a descending wedge that then broke up. Then you met resistance. So typically on these targets, so like the descending wedge, it hit its targets of basically where it started. And then myself and the team, we all got puts up here, played puts all the way down, and then now we're coming up here and we're kind of getting rejected off this 236. So if you get a strong rejection off the 236, you're going to be either looking for a double bottom on the 0.5 if you want to look for a bullish standpoint, or you're going to be looking for the 0.68, or like I said, my opinion is we're going to see lower lows. If you listen to Powell talk at the Fed meeting this past week, in my opinion, he wasn't even, he said multiple times that he was talking about how he would rather over tighten. We have the tools to over tighten this deal, and then I would rather, I'd rather over tighten than under tighten. I'd rather over tighten, and then when we really see inflation start to get under control, then we can pull back a little bit. But he did not commit to lower interest rates at the December meeting. He did not commit to, what a lot of people were anticipating, which is what I tweeted out, is that he was going to say, yes, we're doing, they were going to do the 75 point hike, which is what they did. That was expected news. That's why you saw the big pump. But then when he started talking, he was very hawkish. He was very like, listen, I'm not committing to anything. We really want to see signs. So, and we've got CPI numbers this Thursday. So, like I said, guys, I apologize. I know you're here for AMC. We're about to get into that. But I just don't think, which I've been saying for as long as I've been covering AMC, that it's just not going to mess, without a major catalyst. AMC is just not going to blow through the entire market being in a massive wave down. That is just my personal opinion. It could be wrong, but it hasn't been wrong so far. So yes, I've been a bear. And until I really seen, all we're hearing about is, hiring freezes or laying off workers. We're not seeing, great job numbers. Well, actually, we've been seeing some better than expected job numbers, but that's not what the Fed wants to see. The Fed wants to see the labor market tightening. We haven't seen any talk of, lowering interest rates. We've heard them say, we hope this is what happens, but it's like I always tell my team in the Discord, hope's not a plan as far as I'm concerned. We got to go with I always say numbers don't lie, people do. So we've got to base our decisions. What are the numbers actually telling us? Housing is looking awful. Interest rates are going up. You still got overinflated prices and rising interest rates. Not a great time to be a realtor. You're starting to see the car market is not doing well. Also, too, when you look at the overall, as I was talking, I was just kind of looking at this, if you look at the overall volume, the selling pressure is by far and away what is winning in these markets. So to me, we're just not at a point where I really think we are at a recovery phase yet. So having said that, let's actually get into AMC. AMC, last time we were talking, we were looking at this breakout of this descending wedge. It did break down momentarily, then you did get a breakout. However, the breakout is just not what you were looking for as far as, the bulls really didn't step into this thing. And so when the bulls really didn't step into this thing, then the bears took over at that point in time. Now, one thing I will say that is, it's at least nice to see is you are starting to develop a bullish divergence here on the RSI, and what that means is, so your RSI, point to point right here, it is making a higher high while price is making a lower low. So you are, let me change colors on here so that's easier to see. So the price is going down, meanwhile the RSI is making a higher high. Now, like I said, we got earnings tomorrow. If you are a bull, be careful about any type of calls that you buy into earnings. IV is going to be spiking going into earnings, especially on a stock like AMC. And even if you guess the right direction, whether it goes up or it goes down, if you bought puts, unless you guess the right direction and it really pulls towards your number that you picked, then you are going to see IV crush. And, especially if AMC, so if you buy calls, way out of the money, or if you buy puts way out of the money, if AMC relatively stays flat with earnings, then you are going to get IV crushed and you're going to lose a lot of money. So please be very careful when it comes to options, not just on AMC, with any stock. Be careful when it comes to options on earnings. Sometimes it's better to play post IV crush, so let earnings play out. If you're an options player, that's who I'm talking to. If you're a buy and holder, then buy and hold, right? I don't care. Do whatever you want to do. But when it comes to options, wait until earnings is over and then, take a position at that point in time. You're gambling with high IV if you do it pre-earnings. So what am I going to be looking for when it comes to earnings? Well, number one is going to be ape dilution. Once again, let's just face facts here. Nothing about Ape or AMC since Ape debuted has been good. As far as I'm concerned, it has not panned out the way I wanted to. As far as I'm concerned, which if you're watching this video, that's the opinion you're hearing. As far as I'm concerned, it's been a disaster. When Ape was debuted, AMC and Ape together were like right around $27. Today combined, they're right around like $6.50. You are lying to yourself as far as I'm concerned if you act like Ape has been a smashing success. And if you were it's going to expose the synthetic shares and we're going to get the share count we wanted and all that kind of stuff, yeah. I hope the future turns out better for all of us, but it has not done that right now. I was truly hoping we would see true buying and selling pressure with Ape, and I don't feel like that's the case. I do feel like people have been talking about buying Ape, but once again, numbers don't lie. People do. Ape has just been beaten into the ground, and so has AMC. But once again, you can take solace in the fact that for a large part, so many, you look at any of, the major stocks or anything like that, everything's taking a beating right now. Okay. So, and I posted this on Twitter that I believe most of the buys that we all make right now, maybe 5 to 10 years from now, we're all going to be very happy with. Now, if you're I wanted my Moaz and I wanted it today, you're not going to be happy. But the reality is, unless things hit, hundreds of thousands of dollars a share, you're not going to be happy with anything. So, I've always preached realistic price targets, when it comes to this deal. And like I said, I'm not happy. I don't expect you to be happy. I'm not particularly happy with management as far as their communication on this whole deal. But once again, that's just me and my opinion. You do not have to share it. So what I am going to be very interested tomorrow is what's going on with Ape and what's the plans for Ape. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's not the way I do things. So for me, tomorrow is a very, 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 very important earnings call as far as how I'm going to decide me managing my position in going forward. I have always held a lot of shares of AMC and Ape right now. And I don't like the way things are playing out. So unless I get some news as far as, and once again, I'm in it for the long haul, so I don't need to hear, we're going to squeeze them tomorrow. I'm not one of those people. Like the squeeze was always a bonus for me. I've said that multiple times before. I'm a massive fan of going to the movies and the movie experience. I can't wait to go see Black Panther with my son. But at the same time, I need to know that I feel like, the people in charge are looking after my best interest. And so tomorrow is going to be very important for me, whether or not I continue to hold as large of a position. Now, even when I say that, okay, don't panic. I'm just going to get more aggressive on how I sell calls. If you don't know what that means, go look it up or join my Discord. I teach you how to do it. But I'll just get more aggressive as far as how I sell calls and manage my position at that point in time. So Ape dilution, what's going on with Ape? How are we going to manage this thing going forward is going to be big for me. Debt. I've been very outspoken about AMC's debt and how I don't like it. The reason I don't like it is because they're not cash flow positive. The ultimate goal for AMC needs to get to where they are cash flow positive. You can't do that when you have a bunch of debt. Interest rates, as of right now, they are going down. I know Adam Aaron talked about coming out and restructuring like $100 million worth of debt, and I'm all for that, or eliminating 100. I think it was I think they restructured, and I may be misspeaking here. I'm just going off the top of my head. I think it was they restructured like 500 million and it eliminated like 100 million of it. So, and once again, I'm all for that. But the reality is they've got 5 billion in debt. So that's like shooting the elephant with the BB gun. So I want to hear more of that is going on. So what are the plans as far as debt? We know these Q3 numbers are not going to be fantastic. That's the reality of it. We're all expecting it. We're all anticipating it. So now, one thing, and follow my man Ryan Rigg on Twitter. He posted Cinemark's numbers, and Cinemark actually did a lot better than people were anticipating. So, obviously they're in the same movie, industry business. So we might get better numbers than what people are anticipating. And obviously that would be great. So if we beat earnings per share and if we beat total earnings, that is going to be very good for AMC. But like I said, cash burn, how much money they had in the bank, I don't want to see that number just constantly getting, dwindle down. Like I'm okay if money in the bank is getting dwindled down if we're attacking some debt, making some really good acquisitions along the way. So I'm going to be very interested to see what the cash burn is looking like. Also, too, forward-looking statements. Where are we going with this deal? What is the plan for the futures? That can be as far as acquisitions go. That can be what are we doing with the credit cards. I feel like there's been a lot of talk and not a lot of action on these things. I believe popcorn was originally supposed to be rolling out in like Q3 at the latest, like Q4 of 2022. So where are we at on this deal? Like let's get these things moving. I feel like we're getting a lot of lip service, if I'm being as honest as I can now. Do I think Adam Aaron is doing just about as good a job as he possibly can for the company? Yes, I've been a supporter of Adam Aaron, and as of now, I am continuing to be. However, I am skeptical. I'm a little bit. I tell my kids, I tell my students, I tell my Discord, like you got to judge people on their actions and not on their words, and that's the reality of it. Like that's what we do in life. We judge people on their actions, not on their words. Like don't tell me you're going to do a good job. Actually, go do a good freaking job. So I need to start seeing a good freaking job is being done. I'm just being as honest as I can once again. So I need to hear about popcorn, that it's really, I don't want to hear about, we're looking at doing taste testing stuff. Don't tell me it's going to be delivered at one point in time and then it's backtracked and it's going to be a year later or anything like that. I just don't overpromise and underdeliver. You need to be going the opposite way, especially when you're dealing with a bunch of sensitive retail shareholders, right? So if anything, I talked about, I guess it was in my Discord video for this weekly outlook. I was like, when I talk about kids entering competitions, like fighting competitions, if anything, I always make it sound worse to the parents than it actually is. Because I want the kids and the parents to be like, that wasn't so bad at the end. Not going, yo, you didn't tell me my kid was about to get punched in the face. What the heck? So I think they need to do a better job of not giving maybe quite so much lip service and, just telling us how it is. So, like I said, to recap that, dilution, debt, cash burn. Where are we going with this thing? Acquisitions. We know we got a lot of Q4 movies. Being as honest as I can when it comes to Avatar, I'm a little nervous about Avatar. I think no matter what, it's going to do good opening weekend. But you're already starting to see, I saw a thing where James Cameron was talking about how, if Avatar 2 is a little bit of a flop, then he's just going to be doing Avatar 3 and then being done with it. And 4 and 5 won't even be happening. So, and if I'm being as honest as I can, the previews. Sorry, the previews. They look cool. Like it's obviously going to be a beautiful movie, but it's not getting me super excited about the movie. So now, like I said, I'll be there opening weekend. And same thing with Black Panther. So a lot of good movies coming out in Q4. And I'm really hoping, they start talking about getting cash flow positive by Q4 of this year. I need to hear, good things in the future. I'm okay if it's sucky right now. Like I am. I know Q3 isn't going to be great or anything like that. I'm okay if it sucks a little bit right now, but I need to hear good things going forward, and then I need to see some action on those good things that they're talking about, because I feel like it was about Q2 Q3 and Q4 of last year that they were talking about all these great rollouts and credit cards and all that kind of stuff, and we're still sitting at nothing's happening right now. So I just want to see that the process is moving along. Now, when it comes to, last but not least, let's kind of look at some technicals. So I did this with my Discord, where sometimes I like to do this, where you just turn a chart upside down, and sometimes I like to completely, like, I'll have charts pulled up, like, just look at my Tesla chart. It's, it's got all kinds of stuff going on, which, by the way, just killing Tesla lately. Just beautiful rising wedge breakout, beautiful descending wedge breakout to a rising wedge, to a bear flag, to a bearish pennant, to another bearish pennant, just absolutely slaying Tesla. So sometimes my charts, they can get a little crazy all over the place. And so what you need to do is you just need to clear the slate a little bit and just kind of pull back, maybe look at it from a different angle. So if you do that here with AMC and you look at some different levels. So if you just showed me this chart and you're just like, Colin, what do you think of this chart? I would be saying that, like, well, you had two major push downs on increasing volume. Every time this bad boy pushes down, the volume increases. Every time it pushes up, the volume is relatively weak. It's kind of making this, sort of same thing that we just talked about. It's kind of making this, ascending, broadening wedge right here, which, we looked exactly how that's going to play out. And I know my buddy Rico has been talking about this for a while, which, by the way, shout out to my buddy Rico. Sending prayers to you and your family, my man. Much love. But, I would say, well, it could, you can see this thing, kind of ping-ponging down, and then once it breaks out, you could see this deal happening real easy. So I do think long-term, AMC looks prime for a reversal on a macro basis. Now, could it go lower? Yes. And honestly, I actually think that it's going to go lower. Now, that could be trumped with, obviously amazing news. But if we're looking at levels of where I think this thing could come to, just like I showed you guys, let's go back to SPX here. So the reason I was quite confident this thing wasn't going to happen is because of all the support and resistance right here around this $3,900 level. So if we go back here to AMC, look how many times this essentially, and once again, this is post-split, so, but look how much $4.64 in this area, it has acted as, so right here, major support, major support, major support, major support, major resistance. So coming back down here and retesting that and then getting at least some type of a push back, and then, working your way down here. So I do think AMC, the long-term chart, looks good. I do. I do think that if you bought in these areas, potentially you're not going to hate these areas. If you come back here and look at what was going on back here, this was all clear support area. So another level that we could be looking at is right here at this buy button collapse. So $3.25 I don't think is off the table, okay? But I do personally think, and I'm hoping, all right, that with this next leg down in the market, like I said, we're really going to find a true bottom in AMC. And the next place that would be most likely, so let's flip the chart back over. So look at the double bottom that was created. And this was its low, other than the buy button collapse, this was its low that led to the pre-June run. Once again, you can see how just as perfect of a double bottom, so making that big W shape, which was preceded by essentially this cup and handle push up. But that is the next level of clear support that we have. Now, you could also argue that this spring at right around $5.11 could provide support. Sorry, I wasn't paying much attention to today. Did we even come down that low? today because I know it recovered a little bit. So not quite, about $5.17 was about the lowest. So that is potential as well. Okay, but the reality is I think this is, and I mean you can just see how important this level was to AMC. So 1, 2, 3, 4 major rejections off of this level before then you had the January squeeze, and then you had the buy button collapse. And but even on the buy button collapse, momentarily this area was where it found support, before it rolled up and, eventually rolled back under. And like I said, it's essentially this made, one giant cup and handle. Then you had a double bottom at this level. So I think $4.64 is going to be a major level of support. You really want to see some bullish momentum and volume and all that kind of stuff stepping in at that point in time. So that, from a technical standpoint, is going to be what I'm looking for overall for AMC. I hadn't drawn any type of fibs on this thing. Oh, well, look at that. Look at the squiggly line of destiny. Am I right, my friends? Okay, so the more I look at this, the more I like that. Okay, so $4.86 to $4.64. You really want to see some love for this stock. Now, Dave Marino Jr. famously says AMC loves that 786. So you should mentally be prepared for $2.61. Okay. Don't think that's not my most likely. Okay, my most likely is going to be the 618. However, it's certainly possible, especially if the market gets real ugly. Now, once again, I've said multiple times, somewhere between 350 to 330 is going to be where I'm looking for the leg down. But, I mean, look at that. Just drawing the squiggly lines almost perfectly. Whatever. So, it's just, when you study a chart as much as I have when it comes to AMC, sometimes you just know, man. So, like I said, we would definitely want to see this golden pocket of the 618, really right around that 618, maybe a momentary dip below. But boom. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Okay? So, honestly, I would even love to see this dip going into earnings. So I would love to see it coming down here. If it dips into earnings like that, I might be getting some calls. Don't tell anybody. But this is like, and like I said, if you flip this bad boy upside down and you said, Colin, where would be a great place to buy? I would tell you that would be a great place to buy. Now, I don't care if you buy. That's totally up to you. What you do with your own money and your investment is completely up to you. Says in my Twitter, I don't make buy or sell recommendations. I'm just posting my TA. And I'm going to be wrong sometimes, but I believe in every play. So, I believe in AMC still, even though I don't cover it 24/7. And that would be what I would be looking for. Statistically, and from a technical standpoint, which is how I trade, that's a great time to buy AMC. Is at a macro 618 pullback. That's my opinion. That's how I'll conclude this video. This is what I would be looking for right here. Okay? If I was going to short this stock, this looks like a fantastic time to short it. It's coming up to the inverse 618. But we flip it over. I think that looks great. I really do. Okay? I am bearish short term, but I am bullish macro. I think it's going to take some of the market recovering and everything like that. So it still might be short term wrong. Like I said, I'm going to mentally prepare myself for $2.61. And I'll keep holding if management, from a business, from a fundamental standpoint, if I feel like I start hearing and really seeing some delivering going on. If I feel like I'm getting more lip service, then I will always hold some shares, but I will get way more aggressive in how I sell calls on this bad boy. And I'm going to start getting a return on my investment, which is what I did with BBIG. You can ask anybody in my Discord. I basically sell calls on a monthly basis on BBIG, and my entire investment in 2 months from now, I'm going to have my entire investment recouped, and everything, all my shares are going to be 100% free roll at that point in time. I'm going to get way more aggressive on this bad boy if I don't like what I'm hearing, and that's the way I'm going to play it. You do what you want with your portfolio. You can buy and hold and bury your head in the sand for all eternity, and I'm totally okay with it because it's your money and your portfolio. Best of luck to all of us tomorrow with earnings. Let's hope for some surprise earnings. So like I said, we want to see earnings per share. Let's recap everything. So from a overall market standpoint, I'm still bearish on the overall market. CPI this Thursday, so be cautious of that. If you're a perma bull, be very cautious about CPI. We want to hear about ape dilution. I want to hear about debt. I want to hear about money in the bank. How much cash are we burning? Like I said, I'm a technical trader, but I also do still care about the fundamentals of the business. Where are we going with this deal? Forward looking. I want to hear some actionable steps that this company is heading in the right direction. Where are we with acquisitions? Are we picking up, theaters? Are we, where are we at on the credit cards? I think the credit cards could be a great deal. New ventures, the Zoom thing came out today. Where that's going to go, I'm not really sure, but if they can make money in non-prime time hours, and this is an added revenue, added revenue is good, especially if it doesn't cost you anything. Even if, let's say, it only adds a few $1 million a year. Well, if they're not having to put anything into it, that's free money on the table. And obviously Zoom is the biggest person on these, virtual meetings and everything like that. Where are we at with merch? I think they're leaving a ton of money on the table with merch. Where are we, with the popcorn in stores? I think a lot of money is being left on the table there as well. And if not, explain to me why. Why aren't we moving forward with this stuff? So I'm frustrated with management. Adam Aaron, every time I hear Adam Aaron talk, I do kind of go, I like that guy, man. I do. I'm tired of lip service. I want to see some actionable steps. Doesn't have to be tomorrow. Doesn't have to be fourth quarter. But I do want to hear this is getting done here, come hell or high water. I want to hear some strong leadership, and I want to hear that I'm gonna take care of you guys. So that's what I'm looking for overall. And then from a technical standpoint, we are about to hit that 618 from the January low to the June top. So that's a big area. You can see we held that 0.5 leading into the August run. So that 0.5 acted as a lot of support. And then once we, I think no matter what, the most likely thing is once we come down here and we hit the 0.6, we're going to push back up and at least retest the 0.5 again. So even if you're, I know this thing will rub people the wrong way, but if you're a trader, if you bought at the 618, you set your stop loss below the 0.65, even if you just play a bounce back up to 750, that's potentially like an 80% move, something like that. With earnings, that could be potential. So for me, as a pure trader of the stock, what I would love to see is an earnings beat. As far as earnings per share beat, I'd love to see a revenue beat, and then relatively kind of stay flat. Maybe up a little bit, and then the next day at market open, see a little bit of a drop off, or even just buy calls at market open once that IV crush is gone. Don't buy way out of the money calls going into earnings tomorrow. You will get IV crushed if you don't get the big move that you are looking for. All right? Follow me on Twitter. Thanks for stopping by the video. Much love. If you're interested in joining the Discord, shoot me a DM on Twitter. I don't have any available spots right now, but if I do get available spots, I'll let you in. All right. Much love, everybody. Like I said, good luck to us all. Go vote tomorrow. Don't be mad and be a keyboard warrior, whether your side wins or loses tomorrow. And yeah, best of luck to all of us going forward in the market. I'll try to get some more overall market videos out later on this week. Much love, my friends. I will see you in the next video. Like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Have a good one.